Government moves to support pandemic-hit businesses in the short term and longer-term measures to help businesses invest in new capabilities. Plus, more changes in foreign labor policies. How will they impact Singapore businesses? Joining me for this segment are Kurt Wee, who's president of ASME. That's the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. And we've also got Jaya Das, who's Managing Director for Singapore and Malaysia at Randstad. Welcome and thank you for your time here on Money Mind. So what stood out for both of you? And has enough been done to support businesses with that $500 million jobs and business support package? Perhaps, Kurt, you'd like to take this first.
I think what struck me was, the government was really putting its money where businesses needed at the frontline businesses, where you have the retail, F&B, service organizations, hospitality that really have been suffering over the last 2 years. So I think we very much welcome the package, the small business recovery grant that announced. But hopefully, government will also consider not limiting it based on 10,000 per company, but maybe expanding that to based on headcount, because there are SMEs that are small and micro that hire a few, but there are also SMEs that hire substantial number of workforce.
Jaya, in terms of support for businesses, what stood out for you?
I definitely have to agree with Kurt that I think the most vulnerable group that needs support and recovery, I suppose, from the last 2 years of COVID would be the SME organizations and the sole proprietors. I have to agree that I hope the government measures it in terms of scale of the smaller organizations and looks at what's needed by them rather than just capping it at an amount per se across all organization sizes. I also think that the extension of the job incentive, growth incentive scheme, JGI, up to September is going to be a very welcome message from all organizations. Continuing with that financial support, I think, is key for all organizations to continue to have Singaporeans employed, as well as to consider what it means for them through the recovery this year.
Kurt, I want to take you back to a previous episode of Money Mind where you shared what's on your budget wish list. It appears you were hoping for more cybersecurity support for businesses. This wasn't quite explicitly mentioned this time around. Are you satisfied that, businesses can get that particular support?
There was a bit of a silence on cybersecurity, especially after the recent saga in Singapore. And we thought that, and even before that, we thought that cybersecurity for businesses is an important area where, there's a need for emphasis. I think training of manpower and cybersecurity, equipping company with cybersecurity solutions, and then generally teaching companies how they should be managing their data, their IP, their customer data, as an increasing pace and momentum of businesses transacting digitally, moving data on the cloud. So I think there's a need to level up business practice and standards in that particular area. Every entity, you are only as good as the weakest link. So in that weakest cyber readiness in employee, right? So it's important that we try to level up the workforce and business entities in cybersecurity practice.
Jaya, let's talk about the incentives aimed at reskilling and retraining workers that was announced at this budget. Have the concerns of the employers and workers been addressed adequately?
Pre-COVID, we've always been focused on looking at retraining and reskilling the workforce. It's been an ongoing topic for over a decade, from all the way from what we do with our students in the school system to the over-reliance on foreign talent, and also what it means to give a career variety and options to our people and increase their capability as we go through digitization and automation as well. So this is a continuation of that and perhaps a deeper focus. I think what's very different this time around is instead of having multi-agencies focus on reskilling and training, it's very aimed at coming out from just NTUC as a focus in terms of the 100 million spend. I think this sort of structural focus will actually make it easier for employees to go forward with the scheme, and also offering the options in terms of the train and attach program or just getting skilled on the job is going to give a lot more flexibility for organizations to do that for their staff. And I think for people who've been impacted by what COVID has done in terms of their job, either because companies are forced to move up their automation plans and make some of these functions change because of the restrictions and physicality, or just in general that the market that they work in or the industry that they work in is impacted. And we're talking about low salary workers, mid-level where this is targeted at. And so for them to give a new lease on life, I think that's really important to keep them employed.
So, guys, there's going to be significant changes when it comes to foreign manpower. Talk to us, Kurt, about how businesses can make this transition, and are they ready for it?
Well, this year there is an announcement of further tightening of the S-Pass EP. This happens in an environment whereby, there's already a tight policy for foreign manpower and also generally high labor costs for businesses. Besides this, I think businesses are going to look at a forward horizon whereby other costs are also going to go up. So I think businesses should really look at the whole slew of manpower support schemes, employment schemes that they are extended and they're in existence, and really look at how they can strategize and plan a strategy with manpower as its core to stabilize and to grow.
Jay, I'd love to hear your thoughts about how this will impact the labor market.
The intention behind this, of course, is quite clear, is to sort of look at the architectural structure of the workforce to understand what reliance looks like on foreign talent, at which level of the workforce are you structuring foreign talent, and hence the increase in the salary levels to even qualify for a pass. If you were to sort of separate two issues and to look at what it means to bring foreign talent in the future, you can then, of course, take some time to plan for this. I think where the difficulty will come in with the existing workforces when it comes to renewals of their work visas and so on, for organizations who've retained some of this talent for several years, this is going to be a very steep uphill climb for them to transition to a local workforce, to quickly retrain, and also to understand what that overlap means. This is going to be definitely a workforce capital increase in costs for them. I think the bigger issue is, can you even find the talent locally? So it's a skills gap, and I think organizations who look for foreign talent to come in, it's not just about the cost of hire, it's actually to do with where the skills come from and what's required. So what you will see right now is organizations scrambling to do their workforce planning so that they know very quickly what they need to do in the next 2 months.